Welcome to AQMD On the Air. I'm your host, Leora Alpern. Our guest today has reached the milestone of 50 years in public service, including serving 15 years as the Executive Officer of the California Air Resources Board, also known as CARB, directing the nation's largest state air pollution control program. During his tenure in that position, CARB led the nation in establishing new and innovative pollution control programs for motor vehicles and fuels, toxic air contaminants, consumer products, and industrial and area sources. He is currently Commissioner and Vice Chair of the California Energy Commission and presides over the Energy Commission's Transportation Committee and serves on the Board of Advisors at the University of California, Davis's Institute of Transportation Studies. He also serves on the Governor's Climate Action Team, the Energy Commission's representative to the steering team for the California Fuel Cell Partnership, and has served on the Governor's Hydrogen Highway Network Implementation Advisory Panel. He oversees the implementation of AB 118, which established an alternative and renewable fuel and vehicle technology program at the Energy Commission. And most recently, he received the AQMD's Clean Air Awards S. Roy Wilson Memorial Award for Leadership in Government. Mr. James Boyd, thank you for joining us.
Oh, indeed, it's my pleasure to be here.
You've had a remarkable history of working on air quality regulations and policy for over the past 50 years. Could you share for our audience your perspective on this history and where we are right now?
Well, 50 years is a long way to go back in time, and I haven't exactly been at just air quality for the past 50 years, but the greater fraction of that, yes, I have been associated with air quality in one way or another, and all I can say is we've come a long, long way, baby. It's really been amazing what all the people who work on air quality in California have been able to do. And when I started in the business, motor vehicles were extraordinarily dirty in terms of their tailpipe emissions. And the proudful thing but troublesome thing is today they're probably 98% cleaner, if not more than that, than they were when I started in the business. But there are so many more of them than there were then, and there are so many more people than there were that many years ago, and they drive so many more miles that we are involved in a constant battle of dealing with that. Plus, just the growth of population begets more economic growth, that is, if you're having good times, more businesses, more jobs, more people traveling, more manufacturing, more the generation of electricity, and more emissions. And air districts and the Air Resources Board have battled and battled low these many years against all those issues and obstacles and have made great progress. Another interesting observation is the support of the people of the state of California. It's kind of my feeling that the great Golden State was blessed a long time ago with a very healthy group of people, maybe say a very large middle class in particular, who cared about quality of life, and they recognized early on that the quality of the air and the health they had were affected by air pollution. And so California for years has had a record of nonpartisan or bipartisan political support, all pushed by the people of the state to do good things about air quality. And it's only in the last unfortunate 10 years plus that perhaps it's gotten a little cantankerous, let's just say, and differences of opinion and the issue of is it the economy or is it the environment? We're really talking about people's health. We hardly get around to protecting the environment. It's also almost more fragile than people, but we've been trying to protect people's health all these years in order that we can have a productive economy. And if there's one nation, or one nation state as I like to call us, that has totally demonstrated the idea that a healthy environment and a healthy economy travel hand in hand or hand in glove, it's California. And when times are good, people appreciate that. When times are not so good, as they are right now, unfortunately, the desperate need for employment, for jobs, for basic shelter and food needs, the concerns for one's kids, et cetera, you begin to think that maybe we've gone too far with regard to protecting, quote, the environment, and people get to begin to debate the subject. But I'm pretty confident, based on that almost 50 years, that the past will be the future. We'll go back to the future, so to speak, and continue to do what we've always done, to fight the good fight and try to balance the economy with the need for clean air and the health of the public. So I'm an eternal optimist, and I think we'll continue to do good things. I think we're going through what probably most people alive today have never seen in terms of a serious recession. And of course, it's really my first recession that I have any knowledge of, but I grew up with parents who, of course, came out of a recession. And it's not a fun thing, and it's tough on people, and we just have to address it. We have to have the courage to address it. We have to be able to have the courage to take some risks to get the rewards. And I'm a little concerned that people right now are sheltering in a little bit and afraid to do some of the things. But being the eternal optimist, as I said, I think everybody will pull it out. But I do leave it to the next generation.
Looking to the future, what paths would you suggest that local agencies, the state and the federal government follow in order to continue protection of public health and the environment?
Well, I think the paths of the past are pretty sufficient to follow into the future. I must admit, my lengthy years of working in this environment, this business, public health, physical environment world, I do have a concern that everybody have a better understanding of each other's point of view, and that we really do better understand the delicate balance that I mentioned between the economy and the environment. And while I am not by any means calling for any abandoning of our goals and ideas, I would like to see people spend a little more time getting all the perspectives on the issues. I think we need a better dialogue. I think we need more people willing to say, you know, I think I'm right, but you might be right, and I'm willing to listen. Because it's going to be tough to bail ourselves out of the dilemmas we're in right now. And I notice the stresses and strains getting pretty significant in the battles between the folks in the industrial and the business area who just say, we give up. California's an impossible place. We're just going to pack up and leave. Some of that is rhetoric. Some of that is sincerely felt. And I think we need to deal with those people who sincerely feel it, and we need to find a balance. An awful lot of people have not had to experience much in the way of ups and downs. California has not had until this time to experience ups and downs. I've watched the nation go through little ups and downs. Well, California was totally insulated by its incredibly healthy aerospace and defense industries of the past. And while we watched other states suffer, and I watched my peers in the air quality business in other areas have difficulties, we didn't. Now we're sharing, and we're all sharing and sharing alike. And I think we're going to have to work hard at it, but we should not ever abandon the ideas that people in California have, because they're good ideas, and everything we've ever done has proven to be the right thing to do. It's going to be a matter of timing and extent and phasing, but never give up hope, never give up the crusade.
Mr. Boyd, the path towards this cleaner future is going to require the involvement of the public and private industry. In addition to government and regulations, what are some innovations that you would suggest for motivating, engaging, and getting buy-in from the public as well as industry?
Well, it's going to take more work, following in the same vein of the question I just answered, with regard to what does it take to build an economy that's strong enough to pay for the quality of life and public health improvements that we need. And there's no question we need them. I mean, look what's happened to the population of this state. It's absolutely incredible. When I started in government, I gave talks about the 16 million people in California, and now I'm talking about the 38 million people in California, or the small number of vehicles versus the 28 to 30 million vehicles we have today. So it's been an uphill climb. It's been an uphill spiral. It's smoothing out some, but we are going to have to figure out how to have and develop clean, green jobs around clean, green technology. We cannot be scared away by some of the issues we see in the press today where somebody made a single mistake, somebody loaned too much money to somebody without doing perhaps proper due diligence. And I noticed the feeding frenzy that is starting up. It's like throwing blood in the water and the sharks take off. I don't think that's how we got out of the last depression. No risks, no rewards, and we've got to stop punishing people. But we do have to appeal to people's kindly feelings about their fellow people, as well as the state of their state and the economy. And there's more than a fair degree of greed that's gone on out there in the past. Some of us have lived through it. As a person in the energy business, I certainly suffered through California's electricity crisis of several years ago, and many of us saw greed to the magnitude that was unimaginable. I think we have to create a better dialogue with the public, with the NGOs, with the business community, and reach a better understanding on what it's going to take. And it's not going to be complete abandonment or surrender by anybody in any of those quarters. It's going to take a concerted effort like we've almost never done before, perhaps only when threatened by some physical force from outside the country do we tend to really become united. This is a big issue, and I fear for our future unless we do come to grips with it. There will be sacrifices, there will be risks that have to be taken. There will be financial risk as well as, perhaps in the case of some people, risk with regard to the employment they enter into. But it's going to take that kind of courage, because there is no spending our way out of this issue. There's a limit on revenues, and the whole world, not just California, is facing a financial situation that's pretty dire. I do not want to be driven to rereading the rise and fall of the Roman Empire to try to contrast it with what this country or this state is doing. But I love my nation state of California. I'm a fourth generation. I've given my 50 working years to public service, and I really think California has the capabilities of moving on if we just get everybody energized to do it.
You've had a perspective both of working for the state's air and energy policy agencies. What do you think the state's energy future is in relation to air pollution as well as greenhouse gases and creating the sustainable communities throughout our state?
Well, again, this is these all go together. Historically, as we've striven to address air quality, and air quality has been, for most of my working lifetime, the largest driver of public policy in these arenas, be it energy or just public health and air quality. On occasion, concern in this state, in this country, for, let's say, energy security, be it transportation fuels, when OPEC rattled our chain many, many years ago, or be it the security concerns that have suddenly arisen post 9/11, which seem to be here permanently. When those have faded away, other than now the post-terrorism world, air quality has always been there in the hearts of the people of California to continue to push people to explore new technologies, cleaner burning fuels, different types of fuels to provide our power or our mobility. California has the cleanest electricity generating fleet in the country, but it still relies upon some fossil fuels. And it also imports the dirtiest of fossil fuels, coal, from other states. Not a lot, but some, and we have a policy to get rid of it. We also have the most ambitious plans for renewable forms of electricity, wind and sun, solar. However, the sun doesn't shine all day, and the wind doesn't blow all the time, and we have to augment that with other forms of energy to fill the void, so to speak. So we need to keep striving to solve these problems. And all of this gives us more and more green technology and creates a different kind of jobs for the people of the state. So I think our energy future is weaning our way more and more off fossil fuel, which contributes to the reduction in greenhouse gases, reducing our demand for energy by adopting more and more forms of efficiency. And we've proven as a state that there's all kinds of things you can do to improve efficiency. Usually less electricity through efficiency measures. We don't have to sacrifice anything. We don't have to put on a sweater and sit around a cold room. There's just different technologies and things that can be done. All of that's going to contribute to meeting our energy needs for the future, reducing the carbon footprint that contributes to global climate change, and just reducing the amount of machinery that generates pollutants that cause the criteria air pollutants that give us our public health problems. Again, there are many, many roadmaps laid out there for us. We need to follow them. It's not going to be simple and easy. It's made doubly difficult by the financial times that we're in. We may have to catch our breath and slow down a tiny little bit. The only I don't want to make this a positive. The fact that the economy is not good means that we're not producing as much, emitting as much, and we have a little bit of a chance to catch our breath and devise some new technologies, but even more important, get the cooperation of more and more people. But California has such potential, and it really needs to re-tap that potential and carry on. It will always be the nation state of California. We were the world's 5th largest economy. We have slipped to 8th. It's not so much we've slipped as much as developing nations have developed. And some of them are really big in terms of population and potential. So we should be pretty comfortable somewhere down there around 7 and 8. That's still incredible when you consider we're just a state. So we've got the potential.
Mr. James Boyd, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you on our show, and thank you for your over 50 years of passion and commitment in public service to helping clean the air that we breathe.
Thank you very much. It's been my pleasure.
Well, that's our show. I'm Leora Alpern. Thank you for watching AQMD On the Air. Visit us at cleanairconnections.org to learn how you can help us clean the air that we breathe.